Welcome to the Trelona Advanced Termite Bait System ATBS presentation about strategies and support. Today's session is focused on Trelona Advanced Termite Bait System and more importantly how baiting strategies, correct installation and ongoing support come together to help you as the pest professional do better termite work in the field. Termites remain one of the most damaging structural pests in Australia. They work silently, often undetected, and the damage usually isn't noticed until it is extensive. Termites don't just damage timber, they damage confidence. For the client, it means structural damage, financial stress, and disruption to everyday life. For us, it highlights why professional inspections and treatments are critical. Termites pose a significant risk. 1 in 3 homes in Australia is at risk of termite attack. Insurance typically doesn't cover termite damage, so prevention and ongoing management are key. That's why, as a professional, what we do does matter. Why pest control companies perform termite treatments? Termite work builds strong long-term businesses. It generates high-value revenue, creates ongoing client relationships, and positions us as trusted experts rather than a one-off service provider. Strong termite businesses are built on good decisions, understanding construction, adapting to site conditions, and using proven systems sets professionals apart from their competitors. No two buildings are the same. Multiple trades are involved, multiple design changes throughout the building process, and shortcuts can create hidden termite risks. And that's where failures usually start. If you understand the building, you understand the termite risks. Some constructions have slab joints, cavities, concealed voids. Termites exploit these weaknesses throughout the structure. We don't see unless we look properly and do a complete inspection and understand the construction process. Termites don't respect building plans and construction processes. They enter through cracks, penetrations, expansion joints, voids. These are all potential highways and entry points straight into the structure. Professional strategy considerations when quoting a termite treatment. There is no single termite solution. Every strategy must be considered for the construction type, the species present, the pressure on the actual property itself, the site conditions, the customer's budget, and compliance. Termite inspections are a critical service. Inspections protect both the client and the pest professional. They help identify risk early, support ongoing programs that are in place already, and create a genuine upsell opportunity that will deliver your customer real value. Why Trelona? On this slide, I wanted to highlight why Trelona stands out as a termite baiting solution. The key advantage is that Trelona is designed to simplify termite management while delivering strong field performance for the PCO, the pest control operator. It brings together ease of use, durable station design, and a baiting approach that helps make inspections and servicing more efficient. So when we ask why Trelona, the answer is really about reliability, practicability, and a better day-to-day usability for the technicians and the customers alike, which will improve your business practices. Baiting systems help manage construction defects, allow simple installation, and deliver long-term colony control. When done correctly, baiting supports business growth as well. So why Trelona and the ATBS system? Trelona is proven over the test of time with hundreds of thousands of properties around Australia protected and around the world. It's cost effective compared to other bait systems. It's very robust and a solid system. Stations are very difficult to be broken. And it's flexible. There's multiple treatment options within the one system. And it's designed for real world conditions, not just perfect lab scenarios. And it's actually designed for the pest control operator to use and protect people's homes. Trelona has over a decade of field confidence across thousands of sites throughout the United States of America and here in Australia. Trelona was actually launched in America in 2014, was also launched in Australia in 2020, but prior to this, extensive trials were completed across both the United States of America and across Australia as well. Trelona testing never stops. So at BASF here, we still complete stability trials and palatability trials on our 650 acre trial site in Townsville, North Queensland. This trial site is just Australian bushland with huge gum trees, has Mastotermi darwinensis on it, species of termite. It also endures the wet season of North Queensland every year, so it's the harshest of conditions. And these trials have been going since 2014 and are still ongoing today. And what this does for us is it confirms the reliability under Australian conditions and the harshest conditions possible. We also do competitor comparisons as well to see how reliable their systems are also. The power of Trelona ATBS. Trelona uses novaluron, a unique active ingredient, requiring significant less bait, up to 50% less bait compared to other competitor systems, is required to get colony control. The cartridges contain pure cellulose and are registered for all Australian termite species and have been since its inception in 2020, including Mastotermi darwinensis, which are one of the most aggressive and destructive species throughout Australia. This slide shows why Trelona performs so well. In mound trials with Coptotermias aciniformis, these trials Trelona achieved 100% colony control while using roughly 50% less of bait compared to chlorfluoraziron, which is an industry standard bait. This is critically important. Less bait consumption means fewer replacements, less disturbance inside the station, which leads to better feeding, but more consistent colony suppression and management also. Trelona stations are made from durable UV stable plastic, which is 3 millimeters thick. They're designed to withstand soil movement, soil compaction, to allow less roots from trees into the stations as well, and therefore less breakages throughout the entire system, which allows easy and simple inspections of these stations without having to replace pieces all the time. Trelona does not require any bait mixing with water. So there's no guessing of how to mix a powder-like competitor product to certain times a year and to particular species. So you won't have any variations between technicians, and Trelona will be very consistent among all your technicians that even have varying levels of experience and skill levels. So consistency throughout equals predictable results for any termite company. So Trelona can be used as an active on application system, as an active monitoring system, can also be retrofitted into existing installations for other competitor bait station systems. That flexibility lets you design a better treatment plan for your customers. Active on application uses 2 pre-baited cartridges to provide immediate protection. Inspection intervals can be longer and up to 6 monthly inspections, which has some serious labour savings in itself, but doesn't compromise on termite protection. Monitoring is super critical still, and no timbers and or bait mixing is required. Active monitoring. This system has 1 pre-baited cartridge plus 1 pair of Trelona timbers at the base. These Trelona timbers are Canadian aspen and are designed as a ladder, so termites congregate in those timbers and then go straight up the middle and into the bait cartridge. It is advisable that 3 monthly inspections are performed on the active monitoring system, purely because there isn't the same amount of bait as the active on application. So Trelona can be retrofitted into Xterra in-ground stations. So retrofitting reduces your costs, it'll improve consistency as there's no mixing bait with water, and avoids unnecessary site disruption as well. Avoid being a one-trick pony. Reliance on one treatment method might not be as effective as combining different methods like baiting systems, chemical treatment zones, stage 1 treatments, remedial treatments. Uniform strategies may result in missed opportunities and increased risks at these properties. You need to have a thorough understanding of all various termite products on the market, which will help your customers get the best possible outcome. Trelona works alongside any stage 1 option like foamings, dustings, also competitor above ground stations, or you can actually use Trelona cartridges, which is on the label, in other competitive station housings or in our own plastic box or housing that you see fit to fit it on termite activity inside a property or on a tree or externally on a fence. So I'd advise that with all stage 1 treatments, Trelona external stations, in-ground stations, should be placed in and around the property as soon as physically possible. Trelona is compatible with Termidor, Termidor high efficiency and Termidor residual. It is actually on the label that you can use it as a combination treatment, which as a pest professional would give you some particular different options that you might be able to use to protect your customer's house. Trelona installations are quite simple and not complex. We will go into over the next few slides on how to install the Trelona system. Stage 1, Termidor foam option. It is recommended to use cloth tape in badly damaged areas, so tape the surface up prior to treatment. Drill or insert a small 3 to 4 millimeter hole in the tape in areas about 300 millimeters apart where possible. What we're trying to achieve is even distribution of foam throughout the damage and the termite workings. Apply the same as principles as traditional dusting methods. You want to get it on as many termites as possible throughout the property, and always start from where you think the entry of termites may be all the way out through to the roof void, but make sure you cover all the areas. If you're gonna foam a bivouac, always start from the bottom up and work from the outside in and do it in a grid shape formation. Stage 1, above ground station baiting option. Trelona bait cartridges, as explained in previous slides, are compatible with any other above ground bait station housings or bait boxes, as long as the boxes can accommodate the cartridges and fit them inside it. So prior to installation, they should be placed in water to soak up the water. The water needs to be filtered, rainwater, bottled water. You don't want to use chlorinated water or water with fluoride in it particularly. So this is for stage 1 options internally on termite activity as a remedial treatment also, but can be utilised on trees and fences alike externally. Stage 2, Trelona ATPS installation. So part of the simple installation is that stations should be installed around the property structure, approximately at intervals of 3 meters apart. So that's an approximate. If it's 3.2 or 2.8, that is approximately the right spacing because there might be objects in the road. But if you can keep it around 3 meters consistently, that's what is required as per label. When installing Trelona stations, they should be placed at 300 to 600 millimeters off the dwelling edge or the structure's edge. The reason being is we don't want them too close to the property, just in case there is an external treatment zone or a termite barrier around that property. We don't want any sort of existing termiticides affecting our baiting system. So stations need to be off 300 to 600 millimeters, particularly probably 500 millimeters is ideal. When installing Trelona, an auger of 76 millimeters, which is 3 inches, is required for the in-ground station, whether this is a manual auger or an auger bit for a drill. So when installing a Trelona ATPS station, it's advisable to excavate to a minimum depth of 170 millimeters if possible. But if you can excavate an additional 50 to 80 millimeters, what this will do is create a natural sump for excess water and moisture to drain out of, which will eliminate cartridges at the bottom potentially sitting in water unnecessarily. So when installing Trelona ATPS, you can, as a pest professional, choose different pieces of equipment to actually dig the holes for each individual station. You can use a power rotary drill with an auger attachment as well. You will need a different chuck to attach an auger piece. You can use the manual auger as per the previous slide as well in the middle of this slide. But a Makita brushless earth auger drill or something equivalent will make for a very, very efficient, quick installation, and it will minimize physical labor for the pest professional also. The in-ground station should have grass removed from around the top area as well, so that you can recess the actual station top down firmly into the actual soil where it's grabbing. The fins there on the side of the station underneath the lid are designed to actually bed that into the soil and to stop movement potentially when you come back to inspect those stations. But you also want to make it so that it definitely can be mowed over by your customers, and they are not trip hazards, so they can't be too low or too high. They just need to be level with the surface. Trelona stations may be required to be installed in the concrete. So a concrete coring machine is required to core an 82 millimeter concrete core hole to be able to fit the concrete plastic sleeve in, plus dual cartridges or pair of timbers and a cartridge with a stainless steel cap so people can walk over it and they can be driven over as well. Sometimes companies employ external companies to do the concrete core drilling for them, or other companies have their own concrete coring machines also. Other considerations when installing Trelona are stations should be placed in additional areas, not just around the perimeter at the 3 meter consistency. They should be placed where termites are active in garden beds, conducive locations around the property. They might be able to put 4 or 5 stations on a fence line where there is heavy pressure, like a rainforest or gum trees. So this is a major consideration. The more stations you have on site, the better results you will get and the better bait take up you will get also. With these additional stations, Trelona is very, very versatile. And you can install them in multiple locations around the property. So it's super advisable to place them around gum trees where you believe there's activity. Even if there's not activity, 1 or 2, 3 stations could be put around gum trees, which potentially could house termites or may house termites in the future. You can put them around where timber structures, like in the middle photo here, decking and stairs actually touch the ground. And also can be used to protect fences, which a lot of people do tend to forget. But not only just around the property or the structure itself, look further afield. And once again, the more stations you have on site, which you need to charge appropriately for, but the better results you get when it comes to a baiting system. Maintain efficiency. It is easy to maintain efficiency throughout your workforce when it comes to inspecting on a regular basis the Trelona system. So some key tips for Trelona maintenance. Active monitoring stations inspections should be carried out 2 to 3 monthly intervals. Active on application station inspections should be carried out 3 to 6 monthly intervals. 6 monthly intervals are fine and will really, really reduce your labour when it comes to business. And there is definitely enough active ingredient around that property to maintain 6 monthly inspections. But any Trelona bait cartridge, when you are inspecting these stations with more than 50% consumption, should always be replaced with a brand new cartridge. This short video will show you Trelona ATPS, how simple and efficient it is when it comes to station inspections. This slide covers how to manage ant activity within the Trelona ATPS stations. If ants are present around the station, granular ant bait can be applied around the station within a 300mm radius. This is going to stop ant activity into the future, and is a good practice to probably do it each station inspection also. If ants are found inside the station itself, so clear a pressurised insecticide can be applied to the inside edge of the lid to control that activity. And through our research, we know that the non-repellency of Seclera will not affect termites foraging or termite feeding through the trials we have done at our trial site in Townsville. The broader point here is that ant management should be considered proactively during inspections, not just reactively once activity is obvious in these stations or around these stations. Termite baiting is a logical approach. Baiting works with termite behaviour rather than against it. This next section is about business acumen and how Trelona can benefit your company over competitive products, and how it can improve growth for your company if you don't currently have baiting systems. Here we compare Trelona with Sentricon Always Active across several practical categories. Durability. Trelona is presented as the more robust option with a larger and sturdier station design made out of robust 3mm plastic. Ease of access. From a servicing perspective, Trelona is designed for faster access, easier inspections and less disturbance during rebaiting. Can't be said for Sentricon Always Active. The capacity and support. It always offers higher bait capacity compared to Sentricon, and is backed by dedicated technical and sales support around Australia, where the Sentricon Always Active team is potentially very limited and sometimes unknown. So overall, this comparison positions Trelona as a more efficient and technician-friendly system. This slide compares Trelona ATPS with the Xterra termite interception and baiting system, also the Ever-Ready system. So for durability and design, the main contrast here is around build quality, station design. Trelona stations are built in America. They're 3mm plastic, where Trelona is shown as more robust and very dependable option. The advanced station is itself compared to the Insystic stations, which the Ever-Ready is only a 2mm plastic, very flimsy and very, very cheap looking. The servicing efficiency, Trelona is also framed as easier to inspect and service, and helps reduce disruption and improve technician efficiency also. Baiting and cost. In addition, the slide emphasises Trelona's active bait capacity from installation, its lower replacement burn, up to 50% less bait required for consumption to actually eliminate a colony, and a more cost-effective rebaiting model also. So the takeaway here is that the overall message is that Trelona offers a stronger balance of performance, servability and long-term value for pest control companies and the pest control technicians also. So please watch these two short videos. The one on the left, you can see how flimsy the new Everready Xterra station is. It's very flimsy, very cheaply made, quite poor quality actually. And the customer can probably see, how cheap this product is, and it breaks very simply. If you just drove over it or walked on it, it'd probably snap and will require replacement. The second video here is based on how difficult it can be to monitor and how easily the bait sac decays and just difficult to get out. The little lugs on the side that make it difficult. You're going to disturb the termites. That bait sac is so tightly compressed with soil. Very, very vulnerable to non-targeted species, worms, ants alike, and extreme decay in quite damp and wet conditions, which means it will need replacing going by the Everready label. This slide is a comparison of the two systems being installed after 3 months. So you can see the severe bait deterioration on the Everready Hessian bait sac. It's completely deteriorated, so you can't even inspect it. You can see the picture in the middle of this slide is the comparison. Trelona looks pretty much all intact. It's a little bit affected by the water. This was a wet period when I was doing this trial and testing, but the bait comparison is like chalk and cheese. The Everready has just deteriorated dramatically, and that chlorfluorazone will end up in the environment also. And termites just won't want to eat it, and it has deteriorated that much you can't re-inspect it, so it has to be replaced, which is an added expense also. Further comparisons on this slide, once again going back to the key, it's unbreakable key compared to the little plastic key that comes with Everready. As you can see, the middle picture here on this slide, the chlorfluorazone, which is the active ingredient, is all over the outside of the stations out of a brand new box. So the powder is coming out of the little pellets inside of the Hessian bait sacs, they call them. And the other picture on there, you can see the superior quality of both stations side by side. Why you need a baiting system database as part of your business and as part of your termite treatment options. So the business advantages of having baiting systems, and the more baiting systems your company actually has, it will grow your portfolio and become a really big main business asset. So advantages also include ongoing future income for your company, and you can forecast quite predictably. You will grow a strong client service and property history for your customer. Strong database and ongoing contracts, which if you ever go to sell your company down the track, that's what companies that are acquiring you are looking for, is contracts and ongoing work. So you will get ongoing work which will help you grow the business as well, and help fill your quieter months where your general pest controls might drop off and your termite treatments might drop off also. And it acts like a commercial database where you're consistently going out to site and consistently getting payments from your customer. So no contracted database can equal potentially less long-term equity and less value that your company may be worth in the future. This slide is about long-term thinking. A strong termite portfolio means clients are less likely to shop around. Retention rates are higher across the services. Relationships often last 10 years or more. Termite clients refer other termite clients to you as well. So from a business resilience point of view, baiting systems help protect against downturns and increase overall company value, especially if the business is ever sold. The proposal sets expectations before the first hole is drilled or the first station is installed. A good termite proposal explains the risk clearly, justifies the treatment strategy, positions you as a professional, not a salesperson, reduces disputes and misunderstandings later down the track. So vague quotes lead to vague outcomes. Clear proposals lead to better protection, better compliance, and much happier clients. Sales objectives from a technical perspective. This isn't about selling in a pushy way, it's about educating. Your role is to explain risk without scare tactics, offer solutions based on the building and termite pressure, present yourself as a knowledgeable technician, not just an applicator or an everyday average Joe. Focus on long-term protection, not quick fixes. When clients understand why a system is recommended, objections drop dramatically and you will get more systems in the ground and your customer will believe in you. Every technician hears the same objections. It's too expensive. I'll think about it. Do I really need it? The correct response is never pressure, it's context. Use your knowledge. Use photos from inspections, from when you were outside looking at the termites in the garden. Give past job examples. Clear explanations of long-term repair cost versus prevention. Calm, factual explanations. Confidence and clarity beats discounts every time and cheaper alternatives. Closing a termite job isn't aggressive, it's responsible. Provide clear, simple proposals. Prompt follow-up. Urgency when live termites are found. Clients expect leadership when termites are active. If you don't show urgency, they won't either. Termite baiting doesn't stop after installation. Ongoing inspections, bait replacements and communication are what maintain protection. This also opens the door to additional services like general pest control, rodent management, commercial inspections. Aftercare builds trust and trust builds long-term clients for your business. Industry expectations are changing. Clients now expect evidence-based decisions, environmental awareness, clear documentation, transparent explanations. BASF supports this with training, technical support and marketing resources. But quality in the field is what makes the difference. High standards aren't optional anymore. They're the edge that every company is looking for. So why is Trelona as a baiting system so logical? Well, Trelona ATBS saves technician time when installing and when monitoring. It reduces technicians' frustrations compared to other systems. It's simple to use. It's consistent as well. So it eliminates any bait mixing and inconsistency, but it also has a safety aspect as well. There's no airborne dust involved also. It allows more time for inspections and quoting and other treatments to be performed. The more stations managed properly, the more opportunities will arise for your business. BASF offers also the most extensive and comprehensive industry support available nationally. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation.